till I get to Judgment Day. So if that's the case, then why should I get punished here? Why should somebody tell me I can or cannot be gay?
But why would you be punished for something that you're born
with?
Exactly. If you know that you were born gay, why would God punish you for something that you actually had no choice in?
But I didn't say that. I'm just quoting what obviously Dr. Chris just said.
Do you agree with me though?
Sorry?
Do you agree with that?
That I'm going to get punished?
This wasn't a choice.
It's not a choice, no. I'm probably going to get more punished for the drinking I do on the weekend. I mean, that's what I'm really worried about. But as it goes,
Jag.
I don't...
Sorry, come back to the point that Pav made earlier on regarding being gay or lesbian by choice. What I believe, obviously from a Sikh perspective, is about karma and past lives and reincarnation. So what my personal belief is that the tendencies that one person might have, for example, you might have a male who has who has a pull towards the feminine side, that might be to do with what the past lives or what their past life experiences were, what their thoughts were, and everything, and what they did previously, and that might be a desire. But when I said it earlier on as well regarding desires, and within the Sikh faith, someone is initiating in the Sikh faith, they would have to basically, it's more about controlling your mind, basically meditation. So they would have to forsake desires. So if it's a desire with the same sex, or if the person's having sexual relations before marriage and then a long-term relationship, there would have to be that sacrifice, say, if they want to follow the path within Sikhism. And also regarding the marriage within places of worship, our highest authority, spiritual and temporal authority, which is the Gardez in Amritsar, passed a resolution in 2005 which does not allow same-sex marriages within Gurdwara. So that's expected for all Sikhs within the community to follow that edict.
Given that they had to give out a statement of sorts saying we don't allow same-sex marriages, it's obviously an issue. There are religious Sikh people, there are religious Muslim people who are gay or lesbian, who want to live under their faith and have some sort of, I mean, they're still Muslim, they're still Sikh, they're still following the scripture, they're praying, they're going to the Gurdwara, they're reading their namaz, they're keeping the roze, but it's their sexuality, something that they really don't, it's almost like saying, well, I've chosen to be straight. That was never a choice, it's just a given.
I think emphasising what I said about desires, basically, because someone might be a lesbian, it's because of their internal desires, because they feel that there's a pull, because they want to be that way. Again, emphasising the point regarding the Sikh faith, that if you do follow that path, is a path of discipline, and as Sikhs we are expected to follow a code of conduct. And if we follow that code of conduct, for example, I might have been, before being initiated, I might have been in a long-term relationship for a few years, but because I knew I was going to be initiated, I knew that the only relationship acceptable that is in the eyes of the Guru is marriage, and having that spiritual and that physical and that emotional bond with my partner that I'm actually married to.
Right, okay.
So when it comes to down to forsaking desires, it's not actually circling gays and lesbians and basically discriminating against them, basically saying that if you are gay and lesbian, you can't be that if you want to be a Sikh. But it's actually saying that it comes down to a lot of other things as well, how we live our lives. If you are in relationships, whatever we do is covering all those aspects in the whole sense, and looking at what that person needs to do to sacrifice to follow a certain path.
Sure, okay. You're watching Broken Silence. This conversation will continue. We'll be back after this short break. Hi, welcome back to Broken Silence. I'm Sanyya Gardez. We're talking about homosexuality. Can you be a practicing Muslim or a practicing Sikh and still be gay? Jag, you said that it's karma, that if you are gay or lesbian in this life, it's something that you've done in your previous life. It's a lesson, basically. What would be your take if you had a child who showed these tendencies from an early age, as Pav said that she did when she was little? Would you try to steer them in the other direction, or would you let them explore their sexuality?
My responsibility as a father and as a Sikh to my child will be obviously to show them in whatever way that I can the teachings of Sikhism, and basically give them that insight and guide them towards that.
But what would you say to a 6-year-old that is showing, feminine qualities at that age and is wearing, I'm going to generalize, wearing heels and trying on bangles and wanting to put on lipstick? Would you tell that child that you're wrong? This is wrong.
Personally, what I would do is basically steer what I will do is basically steer them towards the seek, because a child at that age is influenced by a lot of factors. Because a child at that age is like their brain is like a sponge that absorbs a lot of information. So if they're watching TV, whatever they're doing, however they're brought up, chances are that's how they might follow their path in life.
So say for argument's sake that at a 6-year-old who's showing these tendencies, you try to show them Sikh teaching, Sikh way of life, kind of try to balance them out, because like you said, they are like a sponge. However, what if 10 years later at 16, they're still showing those tendencies? Would you then have to accept it?
Well, I would obviously do what I can to basically guide them towards that. But if they, I think what you're trying to lead on to, if they turn around to me one day and say, "Dad, I'm gay," I would obviously sit down to them and talk to them about it and find out, because teenagers, a lot of times teenagers regarding anything, any aspect of life, say a lot of things which they don't actually mean because they've been pressured from outside. So I'd obviously speak to them and find out what they really want in life. But at the same time, if they really, really, really knew that they were gay, then I would accept that. Reason being, because even though I don't agree with it, and that's the way they want to go, and they don't want to follow the Sikh path, there's nothing really that I can do about it.
That's very admirable. Pav, now, as a Muslim, you say that you identify yourself as a Muslim. Now, we've mentioned before that the religion would rather you stay in the closet than come out and say that you are a lesbian. How can you, in your mind, come to terms with a religion that singles you out and says, well, you're wrong? How can you be part of a faith that doesn't agree with what you're doing?
Like I said, my belief is in my mind, my heart, my soul. I can pray to a God, which obviously Allah. I can read my namaz. I can do what I want to. Like I said, what I do in my own time, I don't see the two connecting.
What about the more religious parts of your family? What is their attitude towards this?
My dad is the most religious. He obviously sits at the top of the table, as they say. He sits on the mosque committee. He knows.
What does the mosque committee have to say about this scandalous issue?
Thank God he's retired now. Everybody in my hometown, everybody knows. There's not a single person that doesn't know, including the older generation.
Are you invited to family parties? When you get there, are people whispering behind your back? How are the rest of the people that are more conservative, more religious than yourself, how is their attitude towards you?
They're fine. I'm a Muslim. They see me as a Muslim. I'm somebody's daughter. They see me as a daughter, the sister, the auntie. I am that person. What I do in my own time, do you know what I mean? How I choose to live my life. Nobody has a problem with it. Nobody says to me, you will rot in hell, you will burn in hell. They accept me for what I am. I'm a practicing Muslim. My religion is there. It's a big part of me. Anyone who knows me will tell you that it's a very big part of me. Makes me Parveen.
So are you Muslim first? And do you also define yourself as a lesbian Muslim?
Yes.
Muslim lesbian?
Lesbian Muslim, Muslim.
See, now,
the words make no difference.
The thing is that I'm of the opinion that it isn't a choice. That you are born. Your sexual orientation is there at birth. However, if I was a lesbian, I would have a problem with a religion that that says I'm a sinner for being the way that I was born. And so this is why I'm asking you this question. I just wouldn't be able to be part of a religion that told me that I was sinning for something that I can't control.
There's certain aspects of gay and lesbian lifestyles, acts that are obviously forbidden, and they're forbidden for straight couples as well as gay couples. I think those acts are probably more of the reason why people say homosexuality should not be allowed.
Right. It's the acts, not the lifestyle.
Not the lifestyle, because there are a lot of people who are gay, Pakistani Muslims, Indian Sikhs, whichever one, and stay in the closet. Doesn't mean they're not gay.
What are you going to say to people that are watching us now that are going to say, oh my God, they're promoting homosexuality? Can you promote homosexuality?
Not really.
Can you make somebody gay?
No one made me straight.
Dr. Qureshi,